bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Aprati and this is Comcast Newsmakers. This hour's newsmaker is Erin Aleman, Associate Planner for the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. Today we'll be talking about Summer for Public Engagement. Erin, great to have you on the show.
Thanks.
So this is Summer for Public Engagement is a set of workshops that are taking place throughout the summertime. Before we get into the workshops, tell me a little bit about what the agency does.
Sure. So the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, or CMAP, is the regional land use and transportation planning agency for the 7 counties in northeastern Illinois. So we do a lot of policy work, economic development, transportation, land use planning. We do housing stuff. So we basically are a service provider for the region.
And the Summer for Public Engagement regarding the workshops, this is actual workshops that are open to the public, that they can go online and find out the information. But is it specifically for a particular plan?
Absolutely. It is for our Go to 2040 plan, which is our federally mandated regional transportation and, for the first time, including land use and economic development and health and human services. It's looking out to 2040, and we are trying to talk to people this summer about what their priorities are and what the trade-offs they'd be willing to make for us to work on to make a better future for 2040.
Okay, because I think a lot of people, maybe they don't realize the individuals that worked on this 30 to 100 years ago and what impact it's made on our lives now.
Absolutely. So decisions that were made 30 years ago, that were made 100 years ago,
right,
when Daniel Burnham planned for Chicago, the 1909 plan for Chicago, those are those decisions that make, the Chicagoland region a great place to be, but sometimes it's also the reason why we have things like congestion. And so we're trying to talk to people about how their decisions that they could make this summer with us could help us inform the future and do things like reduce congestion and increase housing affordability and all kinds of other things.
So you offer public forums, so you want to hear from the public, you want them involved, and really I'm sure a lot of people want to volunteer and get involved and kind of give their input and their suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely. So this summer we're going to host about 50 workshops across the region. There'll be 2-hour workshops in the evenings in all 7 of our counties across the region. So you can go to www.goto2040.org to see a list of where they're going to be. We're asking people to come out and invent the future with us. If you can't make it to a workshop, you can also give your input online. And we're having traveling kiosks across the region too this summer, so that if you only have 3 to 5 minutes, you can still give us some input.
That's great. And you're going to have one that's going to be located at Millennium Park that will stay there, remain there all summer.
Yep, exactly.
That's great. So, for people who may not understand why this mandate was put into effect, why are we looking forward to 2040?
Sure. So 2040 is basically the date that the federal government told us that we need to plan out to, but we're required to have this regional comprehensive transportation plan for the region, and we thought it was so much more important to include all sorts of other things too. So we know that education and the quality of our schools really make our communities great places to live, and so we want to hear from people about education, because we don't think that we can talk about, as a regional agency, having a better future if we don't talk about those things that are important to good communities.
And also with the decisions that are made now, how they're going to affect, our children and their children down the line, sometimes people really don't understand that type of impact. And to be one of those people to say, you know what, I'm going to make a difference. And I think with what President Obama has been saying now for quite a while, we need to make a difference. You need to offer the community service. You need to get involved.
Absolutely. And this summer is really your opportunity to do that, to come out, to tell us. We're going to have this really great interactive software and keypad polling devices, which give us real-time data technology, input, where you can actually make a choice and you can see what everybody else in the room chose too.
That is terrific.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this with the plan and how CMAP is involved. And this is obviously a plan that you've been working on for the past year, so I appreciate you coming on. We'll have you back on again to give us more information. Thank you. I'm Lisa Aprati, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Comcast Newsmakers.
The preceding was a presentation of Comcast Newsmakers. Now, back to headline news.